Hello and welcome back. It's been a little bit of a while. We've had a bit of a hiatus, but we're back. Recreate Play, the pit crew, cool down room. My guys, Chris, Vinyl, how are we?
Very
Yeah,
well.
really.
Yeah, so we've just had the Imola Grand Prix just yesterday, but it's been a while since we've caught up with you all. So we're going to do a little bit of a recap, catch up on some news, hear what we have to say about things. Where do we start? Gosh, it's been a while. Okay, let's go back to. Well, where do you want to start? Doing? Let's start with doing and all that crazy stuff over there.
Yeah, a lot going on
Kick
at
it off,
Alpine.
Chris.
As
Alpine.
as
Let's
there
start with
has
Alpine. Let's start with
as
Alpine.
as there has
Before we.
been for a long time, I
Yeah.
guess. I don't know. The French love their politics.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
A
doing
lot going on, man.
doing makes way for Colapinto. He had a short, brief trial period, 6 races, and now Colapinto, they've ushered him in. They've put a sort of a cap on it. Like, they've given him a bit of an asterisk. He's got to perform in 5 races. What do we think of this move, guys?
I think the asterisk is to make Mick do and not just punch a hole in the wall.
Yeah.
I think it's just there as a placeholder to say, oh, no, we're going to give him an equal shot and we're going to compare the two. I think he's just in. I think you've Briatore's golden boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's the worst kept secret. I think we all knew it was going to happen, unless Doohan did something spectacular. You know, yeah, he seemed like he was gone as soon as Briatore was signed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for our Aussie lad. I miss when drivers earn their way the old way onto the grid,
Yeah.
Having their dads get them their seat. That's the way I grew up having it done. That's the way I want to see it done for future generations. Man, so where does Doohan go from here? Is he the test driver now for Alpine, or is he finito? Is he coming back? Is he going to have an opportunity?
I don't think he's
their
coming
reserve
back.
driver.
I think he's going to be there as the test driver and he's going to be there with the other, is it Aron and then the Japanese guy, and they're going to be shoulder to shoulder going, when are we going to get a seat?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Chris?
I agree. I mean, yeah, I agree. I mean, he's the reserve, and it's probably the best reserve they've got, with his experience.
Yeah. Sorry, we had some
But,
technical issues. I think you're breaking out, Chris. Can you say that again?
yeah, well, he is their reserve driver, and I think he's probably the best they've got because he's got some experience, at least in the real car. But yeah, I think he's potentially gone. I mean, the other thing is Franco is pretty well known for he can bin it pretty in big ways too. He's quick, but he can also crash. So,
As we saw this
God,
weekend, dude. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, God forbid he gets hurt, but you never know. Jack might be back in that car for a race or two if, Colapinto is unable to get behind the wheel.
Yeah, I mean, the pressure is on Colapinto from the get-go. He, as we saw just now in Imola, he binned it early on, and he's had a tough weekend. So, I mean, even if he doesn't perform, he will get that seat, I think. You know what I mean? As you said, Vine, I think it's... he's got it locked down. He's Colapinto's... I mean, sorry. The boss's golden boy, it seems. Hey.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree.
I
What do we
mean,
think about this?
Colapinto didn't really cover himself in glory this weekend. I think he was trying to make a huge statement, but he made quite a few mistakes, and he couldn't jump back on the horse as fast as I think he thought he could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not the only crazy shit happening at Alpine, boys. What where do we start with that? Where do we go from there? Chris, fill us in. What else is crazy happening at Alpine? Change of leadership
Wow.
again. This is like the 3rd time
Yeah.
in 2 years,
mean,
I think.
yeah. I mean, there's been many, right? Famine and famine and yeah, it's been a revolving door, right? And that's no secret. But having said that, I mean, Oliver Oakes leaving, like, I actually think that might have been a coincidence because his brother got arrested on the same weekend. He's also like, I think he's the team manager at Phytech
Yeah,
that Mr. Mazepin Senior is a major stakeholder of. But yeah, with a huge amount of cash in a bag at like an airport, and he got arrested. So And then straight away, Oliver Oakes resigns. So, and he denied there were all calls of like, oh, he got sacked by Flavio. And he was like, nah, Flavio's been like a father to me. He's been, and I'm like, well, oh yeah, the gangster's been like a father to me. And there's
He's been
huge
like a godfather to me.
yeah, huge bags of money running around airports. Guys are getting arrested. I'm like, wow. I don't know exactly what's going on, but there's a lot of stuff going on at Alpine behind the scenes, I think.
Shit, Mike.
I think that Flavio's probably got his own personal PR team as much as Alpine's got his own PR team. I think from the Instagram posts and like the way that it was orchestrated, I think there's definitely some more machinations in place.
Controversy following Flavio wherever he goes, man. This is gangster talk. This is gangster walk. This is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, you know, what's happening next? Now he steps down. Flavio's going to step in as interim president, as if he wasn't already. But, like, I don't know, Alpine. We won't dwell on it too long. But what do you think of Alpine and their, you know, what's happening here, guys? Come on.
It's just really disruptive
I
for the
think
team.
the important. Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I think importantly, they've been getting quicker. I mean, remember, you think they failed the crash test, like, it was at the start of last year, and they were like 10 kilos overweight or something. Like, so they've actually, I mean, they've come a long way, and Gasly's driving the wheels off the thing. Gasly's driving really well.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't know. I do feel like they're actually on an upward trajectory. As a team, the car's getting faster. I mean, that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, still, you don't want all this rubbish
Distractions
going on. Yeah, behind the scenes.
Yeah. Mike, Vinyl, anything to add to finalize before you underline this?
No, I think that Alpine will move on from the train wreck, shall we? Before we get engulfed.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's catch up. Back to today. Back to today's news. Imola, brilliant, Max. First corner overtake. It looked like Oscar's, you know, to lose, but Max has, you know, reminded everybody he's going to have to be the man to be beaten. If you want this championship, you're going to have to take it. Guys, first thoughts on Max's performance?
Yeah, it was amazing. Like, I think that Piastri thought he had it in the bag in the first corner and just went in a bit conservative, and you just can't do that against Max. Even Russell behind was on the radio saying, "What's Oscar doing? He's just braking too early," and Max just took the opportunity, which was there, and as he's always going to, and that's cemented the victory for the day. Like, it was a great move.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Yeah, just Magic Max. You got to be perfect. You got to be absolutely perfect. You know, I mean, we saw kind of the same thing, but the opposite in Miami when Lando was too aggressive, maybe when he didn't need to be. Like, you don't. And Oscar said it, like, you don't want to be on the outside with Max, like, because he's just going to run you out of road, like, right? That's because that's legal, like, that's fair enough if you got the corner. So, yeah, and he was just too conservative today. He thought, I've got the inside, and you've got to be perfect against Max. Like, Max is going to be balls out. Max has got the experience to know that if I don't get ahead at this corner, the race is gone. You know what I mean? Whereas McLaren were probably still thinking maybe we can still, you know, it's okay, we got this, it's a long race. But Max had the pace, like, in clear air.
Yeah.
They couldn't touch him.
It makes it super tight now, the race between the three lead guys, right? Like, it's only a matter of points between them, Oscar, Lando, and Max.
Yeah.
Vinyl?
Yeah, absolutely. It's super close.
Like, I don't know. I think that it's always the onus on Max to try and keep up with the McLarens for the whole season. But these kind of flashes of brilliance of what keeps him there. Like, look what happened to his teammate. There's occasional trajectory to going faster, but it really is Max carrying that car and carrying that team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think also a big credit goes to the team too, because they've consistently started the Fridays or finished the Fridays not that quick and not that happy with the car, and Max is unhappy, and it gets better on the Saturday and it gets better on the Sunday. So their ability to develop the setup, like nail the setup and develop the car across the course of a weekend, I think is what is a big difference. Like, McLaren kind of rock up with the fastest car and they stay probably perhaps with the fastest car, but when you got the best driver who can probably give you the best feedback, Like, it just seems like that Red Bull are able to develop the car across the weekend.
Yeah,
Much
and also the
more than
strategy.
anyone
They
else.
seemed, they seemed on point with strategy. McLaren didn't do themselves any favors either, or get any
No.
luck really with the strategy with the safety car. Later on in the race, what did we think of Lando's passive aggressive? I'm not gonna ask to be swapped places, but what do we think of that? I don't want to be given the spot, but could you give us a spot?
Well, this is Lando.
It's like
It's
a
typical Lando. Max would have been like, tell this cunt to get out of my fucking way. I'm on the fresher tires. If you guys got a brain, you know what's what.
Right?
At least
Oh,
I'm not
man.
saying it should have happened or would have happened, but this is, I don't know. It's not a convincing argument. Whatever the argument is, it's not convincing when you word it like that.
Yeah. He wasn't quite aggressive enough and not quite PC enough. It was just typical Lando. Sort of wishy-washy, I felt.
Yeah.
I'm seeing this...
I think you made a great point, Mike, is that like McLaren strategy through Oscar's race would have been the bin. Like that, Red Bull had the confidence in Max's ability within the medium tyre to keep it going, keep it alive, and then they went through the kind of the downward phase and went back up the other side. With Piastri, the tyre went off a little bit, and they just pulled him straight into the pits and into traffic, and his whole race was ruined.
Yeah.
Like he carved through well, but just the amount of tyres he used to get back into any kind of track position kind of killed his race. So yeah, like too reactive. They didn't have the confidence in their driver. Or maybe the driver wasn't there to keep the tyres alive like Max was in free air.
Yeah, right. What should we talk about next, guys? Ferrari? Should we get into Ferrari? Ferrari had a pretty good weekend.
Great.
Lewis,
Good finish. Yeah.
Lewis had a great. They didn't qualify well. They seemed pretty peeved off at their qualifying performance, but fourth and sixth, they got their strat right for once. This was a very un-Ferrari like weekend for their home race, I guess.
Yeah. Well, Hamilton got the lucky pit stop, so I think
he got a very lucky pit stop. Yeah,
Leclerc would have been a little bit peeved. I think he was on the radio was saying he was incredibly unlucky, or words to that effect.
Doing the Alonso.
Yeah. Alonso, the unluckiest driver in history.
In the world.
It was his word, the world.
I'm the unluckiest driver in the world. Oh, poor Charles.
No, but I agree. I think, good finish by them. Like, I mean, it was massive, right? No Ferraris in Q3, like at Imola.
It was disastrous.
That was huge. So it could have gone really bad. Like, they could have been both out of the points. But yeah, they had great race pace, and Lewis was like super stoked. You know what I mean? He was like, "Come on, guys! If we can qualify, we can win races." Like with this race pace, he was like,
yeah,
top of the world. So it's good. I mean, it's good. I think we all want to see. We'd love to see another team, right, in the top two, if you know what I mean. We'd like to make that top two or top three. So yeah, I hope they can get their shit together and get their qualifying pace together, because on the race pace was great.
Speaking of other team, the team that nobody saw coming, Williams, man. Is this the resurgence or is this fake sunrise? A faux sunrise?
This is the resurgence, man. This is the resurgence. This is the transition from I'm designing my car on Excel spreadsheets to I'm designing my car in 2025 with good drivers and just a very focused small team. Like this is what Enstone used to be, right? And then now it's in the hands of Williams.
Yeah. Well, a big, huge capital hedge fund in the UK that's got heaps of money at least. But you're right. I mean, certainly, it is a resurgence. Albon's been quick all year. He's been regular top 5 finisher.
I think Albon's been one of the best drivers of the year. He P5, 2 races in a row. You could argue he and Russell have really been the stars of the season so far, and it hurts my heart to say that.
As far as I think you're right. I mean, we just need Carlos, and I think Carlos is starting to find his feet.
Yeah. He qualified really well, right? He ended up top of FP3 and
you're right.
He was top of something.
Q2, sorry, Q2. So, he was fastest, right?
He was fast. Yeah, Sainz was gunning this weekend. So good to see. They got 2 great drivers, both experienced, likable, great team. Yeah. Williams.
Yeah, good to see them doing well. What about Isaac? Isaac, mate, P9, like he had a really strong race, was
Yeah, Isaac
in
was
the
good,
top
dude.
6, I think, for most of the race. Like,
Mm, mm.
did
Albon was running
really
third as well.
impressive, man.
They're doing amazing.
Yeah. So
Dude.
he had a really strong race. He's
Give
probably,
him the Red Bull seat. Far out. He's next.
yeah. Well, he and Antonelli are sort of, I don't know now about Rookie of the Year. Like, I don't know. I mean, Antonelli obviously got screwed over here, but still, he wasn't particularly quick, and he made a lot of mistakes. So
Yeah, I give it to I got to give it to Isaac so far. He's obviously after the first weekend he had a tough time, but he's been consistent and gradually improving. He's been outperforming Liam, which is a bit of a surprise. He's been outperforming
yeah.
Sonoda. I mean, geez, he's been doing really well.
So I was amazed how far in front he was at Lawson in all the practice sessions. All the practice sessions, he was like a second in front, and I was like, he is taking that car and driving it, like really driving it.
yeah.
I mean, FP2
well.
was he the FP2 champion? I mean, he might have been a bit of a surprise to a lot of people, but he's got the cred. You know what I mean?
No, he's quick, man. He's super quick, and I like it. He's got a feisty attitude. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't back down. I like him. Yeah, I think he's heaps of potential there. Heaps of potential.
Yeah. Oh, well, let's talk about Yuki's crash, guys. Far out.
Oh,
Scary.
brutal.
Dude, that is one of the most scariest crashes I've ever seen in a while. Anyway, since Joe's crash, man, that car flipped. The car did its job, bro. Like that accident showed off what F1 cars are capable of these days in terms of safety.
Yeah.
It was pretty incredible. Everything did its job on that car.
Yeah, the car certainly did a job. I'm not sure about these gravel traps. Like, I feel like a car at high speed, like if they just skid over the top, and because they're not flat, they bounce, and that's why they roll. I still don't think the gravel traps are
the
right in every corner, like not on a high speed corner, because if you go off, you just skid over the top, and then because they're not flat, then when they bounce, that's how you're going to roll. So I don't know about you always, obviously
It's always going to,
Imola, there's a lot of bad memories at Imola, so you always worry, particularly there, when somebody has a bad crash.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I still don't think they got the gravel traps right. Like, I don't think they're always the safest option. You know what I mean?
What would you suggest instead of gravel traps, man?
Well, I don't know. Either more runoff, which is obviously not always feasible, but I don't know, like changing. I mean, there must be changing the gravel. I don't know, making it deeper so that it actually slows the car, like goes into it and slows down rather than just skidding over the top. I don't know.
Right.
I mean, I'm not a.
I guess you want to compromise. Yeah, you want to compromise the car being able to recover and possibly go back on track. Yeah. Or it also, a safety compartment that sort of traps the car as well.
Well, I'm wondering if there's a compound where it can change at high and low speed. You know what I mean? So at high speed, it will, you can dig into it, and it probably doesn't exist. I'm probably just
let's solve it right here, right now. I mean, obviously, the worst case scenario is the car re-entering the track, and they want a solution that sort of traps the car as soon as it, has lost control and gone far off the track, that it holds the car rather than re-entering and bouncing back on the track. But this is horrific.
Yeah, it was horrible. But like we said, the car did everything it was meant to, and he walked away.
That halo has earned its keep. Mike, Vinyl, anything else?
Absolutely, yeah. And I suppose we've got to give it context as well. Is it happening in FP1? It's completely unnecessary and completely avoidable. It was you have to be in the top 15 in FP1. You don't need to be in the top 10 or even top 5.
Was it Q3?
No, it's Q1.
It was Q1. Q1. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Go on.
Yeah. So it was like one of his first laps out on the new setup. It wasn't the time to be pushing the limit of the vehicle or yourself. It was just a systems check. And so I think he's got to take a step back and look at your approach. We're like obviously a lot of pressure, but
and I think he did acknowledge that. He did say, it's just so stupid, like pushing that hard at that point. And he actually had a pretty good race. Like he
had a good race.
Sure that he was going to get a point.
I mean, to start from the back to get to 10th, commendable race. Yeah, he had some nice overtakes. He did quite well.
Yeah.
All right, what else do we got to talk about on Imola before we move on to what else we got, lads?
Well, we could talk about maybe Aston. Looked like they had good pace, but didn't. Like they qualified pretty well.
Yeah, they qualified
looked-
well, and then the race pace just fell off. What's the go
They
there? I don't understand cars.
Well,
That should be our
I mean,
slogan.
I think they were a bit unlucky with the VSCs and stuff.
Yeah.
But despite that, like, yeah, I don't know. They just still weren't quick enough. Like the car was. I guess it's just about tire management, right? I think the car's just too heavy on its tires. So you can be quick over a lap, but you can't be quick for a long time. That's their problem.
Tough week for the young kid. Kimi, he had his whole class coming to see him. He brought them treats. He had his teacher there. What were you doing at 17, lads? 18.
I wasn't even allowed to stay up and watch the Formula One. That's what I wasn't doing.
Gosh, I can't believe how young he is, man. He's doing calculus homework, and he has his teacher there. His current teacher, not his past teacher.
Yeah.
His current teacher is at the race. And he's like, Miss, I'm going to go do a lap now.
Yeah.
The
you're
life.
Right. You're right.
The life,
You're
man.
right.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
But,
the life for all his schoolmates as well. Like they would have had the best time. Like, can you imagine VIP treatment?
Yeah.
Right.
I wish I had VIP treatment. Sponsor us, anyone.
I know. Cool guys.
But aside from that, I don't know. He had a bad weekend. Like I don't know. He wasn't quick in
I
any
think it
session
was-
from memory. So he has been quick. So I don't know. It was just the high speed track or what it was. But yeah, I don't know. He wasn't quick this weekend, and he had obviously unfortunate mechanical, not his fault, but still, I don't know. He didn't look very quick.
Chris, hold up. You're breaking up a bit.
Oh,
Sorry, guys. A bit of technical issues. Are you getting that break up too for Chris' final?
Yeah. I think it's
Sorry.
the only train going past Chris.
Yeah, sorry, mate. Can you say that again?
Yeah, I just think he had a pretty slow weekend. He wasn't very quick in any session.
Yeah.
He was always well behind George. I don't know why, because he has been quick in the other circuits. I don't know if it was the added pressure, being at home, or what it was.
Added pressure, man. Brought too many. He brought the pretty girl from class, and that's what happens. You keep the pretty girl from class at home when you're 18.
Yeah.
This is what happened when the girls used to watch me play basketball. Played shit. Okay.
No sacks before a fight. No sacks before a fight.
What happened to Ocon? Was Ocon on the same train? Ocon was slow all weekend.
Yeah, Ocon.
Yeah.
Yeah, talk about Ocon, man. What's up with Ocon?
I don't know. On his YouTube channel, he's buying some cars.
Is he?
Yeah.
Distracted? I don't know.
One of the
I
good
agree.
eggs.
I don't know. Also, slow all weekend. He was last, right? Every session, I think. And during the race, he was also last.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with him. Terrible weekend.
Yeah,
The worst.
dude, tough one. What else we got to talk about, guys? What else is there?
I mean, the Hulk did okay. I think the Hulk did well. He was
Yeah,
fighting
he
for a
was
bit.
fighting for 10th, right? For quite a while.
Yeah.
Finished 12th. Yeah, had a good race. I mean, 12th is good for kick, right? That's a good result. They're out of they're always out of the points, but they're not in the bottom 4, which they usually are. So yeah, he had a really good, strong race. Gasly qualified really well, like awesome. And just he got run out wide by, I think, Leclerc. Was it Leclerc or Hamilton?
Leclerc, I think it was.
Yeah, so it was a bit unlucky for him, I
Leclerc,
think.
yeah.
Like,
French on
or
French
maybe-
crime.
Yeah, maybe he shouldn't have tried to hold on to it and should have given up the place earlier. But yeah, it's a bit unlucky for him, I think. I think like he could have snavelled maybe a point if he hadn't gone off.
Yeah. Aston Martin
Yeah.
showed some early pace in the race, but kind of faded pretty
just-
drastically throughout the race. Like Alonso was
just
on Russell's tail for a
fair.
while, and then nothing really happened after that for Aston Martin.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the three-headed race for a bit. Oscar,
Mhm.
Lando, Max.
Mhm.
It's getting close. And what we talked about at the beginning of the season, remember we were saying, will Lando and Oscar take points away from each other in this individual battle? It's sort of happening that way. Yeah, any thoughts on the three-tier, battle we got going? Who do you guys, far out, I'll kick it off. Who you guys got winning it between the three of them? Early season pick.
Oscar.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm going to go Max, man. Just to be different. I'm going to go Max.
Yeah. Well,
Just
Yeah.
after this weekend, I can see him really picking up consistent points away from the other two, whereas I feel like the other two are sometimes... Well, Lando certainly is probably third in the running, right? He's the dark
Yeah.
horse.
yeah.
Oh, then again, it's hard to pick against Oscar too. I don't know.
It's just that there are
That's
some
the great
weekends where
thing.
Red Bull's going to be like sixth, and no matter what Max does, he's going to be sixth. Whereas I don't think,
right.
unless McLarens crash into each other, they're not going to be sixth.
Yeah, true. I mean, before this weekend, Oscar looked invulnerable. Right? He was receiving awards on the steps of, community halls and crap. He was getting
he's
free
coming off
pizza
three
all
in a
around
row.
town. Yeah, he was looking
Yeah.
and talking like the champ, an Aussie champion.
3 in a
So-
row and put it on pole. So really should have won. Like, it should have been
True.
4 in a row. Like,
Yeah.
and it wasn't good enough for him in that first corner. Like, so I was surprised
Ooh.
that Max was there. Like, mate, it's Max Verstappen.
Yeah,
You
he was
know,
always
in
going to go hard at
going
that corner.
Pass you at the first corner. You should never be surprised that Max is alongside you.
Breaking
you gotta
early in the middle offline. I mean, it was always going to
Yeah.
happen. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Like I was very
Yeah.
surprised that he wasn't aggressively going to the far right and taking the outside before, because Max was always going to
Yep.
go hard first corner. So odd choice.
I don't so much mind that not going to the outside,
Yeah,
because we've seen what Max does when you're on the outside trying
He'll
to
go with the
overtake him.
inside.
He'll
Sure.
just run you out. He'll just run you out wide, and then, in the gravel.
right.
So I think he thought, but I just thought that he was ahead, so that he didn't have to worry. He didn't think Max was going to be able to, but he should have. He
Yeah.
should have known it's Max, and Max is experienced enough to know that this corner is probably going to decide the race. So it's all or nothing. I'm going to either win the race or I'm going to lose it. Like, it doesn't really matter for him. Like,
Yeah.
might as well try and win the race is always his attitude. So Oscar should not have been surprised. That was a bit of a disappointment from him, I think. And
I think Oscar though will give Max the most formidable challenge to his reign since he has been championship, excluding of course the 21 challenge when he was the challenger against Lewis. I think this is the most formidable contender. He's consistent, he's ice cold, he's cool under pressure, he's fast.
yeah,
Like
I would agree.
I think Lando last year was never going to really seriously challenge him under pressure. I thought I never felt that. I don't feel like Max was nervous from the challenge from Lando, but I think this
No.
year Oscar's he's got a shot, man.
Yeah, well, I think the other thing about Oscar is I don't think you will see him make the same mistake twice. So
Yeah, good
No,
I don't
point.
think
It's a big makeup
next time
call.
he's on pole, like I think he's going to go balls out first corner and make sure he's ahead. He's not. So at least, he's still relatively experienced. He's still learning to be at the front and what leading the front corner against Max is. Lando's had a lot of experience with Max. You know what I mean? But I feel
A
like
lot of
Max,
trauma.
A lot of experience getting
exactly.
overtaken first corner.
yeah, like Max has him. Max has got him like here, right? Like he's
For
won that
sure.
one game, I think.
Oh,
So,
Max is his big brother in so many ways, psychologically. Lando, when he goes from race to race, goes on Max's plane, jet. Do you know what I mean? Psychologically, he's big brothering him. And even last season, Max was like, oh, don't worry, you'll get there. I think Lando just cannot escape that psychological, prison of feeling like Max has this over him. Do you know what I mean? He's that kid that he's always got it over him. What do we think? Disagree? Agree?
I agree. I agree with you, Mike.
Yeah.
I agree. Also, I think
Anything
he's
to add?
won that
Yeah.
battle.
I just I feel sorry for Lando in that sense.
Well, one other thing I'll throw in is there's been a lot of press about does Max race Lando and Oscar differently? Like a lot
Yes.
of
Yeah.
people talking about that.
Yeah.
But I actually think no.
Okay.
I think Max races how Max races.
Does he
I
race
think
Lewis
Oscar,
differently?
I think Oscar and Lando race Max differently.
Okay. Talk about that.
But well, because like Oscar said, like you don't try and pass Max around the outside. Like he's like, I grew up watching him. Like I watched all his races. I watched all his battles. Like I don't know. You try to pass him around the outside, he'll run you out wide, and that's okay. That's illegal. That's legal. You know. So whereas Lando keeps trying to do that, you know, he keeps trying to like pass him around the outside. I'm like, why would you do that when you're in a faster car? You can wait, you can line it up, and you know, Oscar, we saw it in Miami, like went inside, went deep. Max made sure. No, sorry, he was on the outside of Max, but he made sure he went so deep that Max had to lock up. So Max went wide, and Oscar waited and did like the undercut. Like,
how about Max versus Lewis? Does Max race Lewis differently, or did he race Lewis differently to how he races these two guys, or has he just simply matured? Vinyl?
I'd say yes. Yeah, I think that like Max raced Lewis like it was the battle for the alpha kind of F1. So he had to be more aggressive and more assertive and go over the top just to show he wasn't going to give a millimeter. Whereas I think that with other drivers, it's a bit more, maybe more on par with fairness. I don't know.
And I think he's willing to give up a corner knowing that he can get it back later on, especially last season, maybe. Whereas when he was up against Lewis psychologically, I think he was unwilling to compromise anywhere. You know what I mean?
Even like they crashed in Brazil, it was just like, no, I'm here. We're going to crash.
We're going to crash, yeah. And
Monza, we're just going to crash.
We're going to crash, yeah. Silverstone,
we're just going to crash.
Yeah. Chris, any thoughts to add on?
Yeah,
Max's driving style.
I think I think what you say about Lewis is true, because that was the changing of the guard. You know, it wasn't just. There was all the other stuff that went with it, like the stewards sort of all loved Lewis, and you know there was all that. There was a lot of stuff going on. So Max couldn't just get by. He had to
he had to piss on Lewis's shoes.
Rub his nose in it on the way through, and he did.
He had to piss on the fire hydrant. Yeah,
and I don't think it's a bit different. Also, I don't think those two have ever got along like off track. They've never been friendly.
Yeah,
right? Respectful, but I mean they're from different generations, right? So it makes sense that like Lewis could be dad for God's sake. So whereas I think Lando and Max, like they're all friends, they know each other, they've grown up, they've raced in lots of different categories together, like they know each other pretty well. So there's also a bit of that there, like they're sort of a bit more friendly. So that maybe I think there's a bit more respect on
this
track
this generation has raced against each other their whole lives, it feels like. So there is this camaraderie on the paddock, which I freaking hate. So how about Oscar? Does Oscar have to race Max the way Max raced Lewis, or is that just not his style? Like, does he have to be that aggressive, or is he just a different breed? Do you know what I mean? Like, does he have to put his elbows out, or is he just talking smack?
Well, I think not really, because McLaren should be quicker. You know, you should have a quicker car in most circumstances, right? I think Oscar is a bit different in that he's a bit less emotional and he races sort of more like the conditions. Like he can doesn't necessarily get the red mist or whatever. Like he can go, all right, well you got that one, but it's a long race. But having said that, it didn't work out here, right? Like you know. So I think this time after this race, he'll be have his elbows out and it'll be like, I'm not going to let Max pass. Like I'll do whatever I can to keep Max behind and I think it's also just the generation of the cars. Like when you get clear air, there's a massive advantage, right? So it's all about tire wear and clean air. So everyone knows you got to be when you're in front, you can manage the race, and that's what Oscar gave up at turn one. So I don't think it'll be so easily lost in the future.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's which it'll make for entertaining racing. Obviously, Oscar learning the ropes of obviously the Max and Oscar dynamic, but also like it takes some drivers. Like I really admire Charles Leclerc, right? Like he can always push, even if he's in dirty air, even if he's behind, even if whatever. Like he's just that kind of driver. He's entertaining to watch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll second that.
good take. All right, guys, shall we wrap it up and talk about Monaco? Is Monaco next? Crikey,
Yeah.
is that time of the year already?
It's May. It's Monaco.
Oh my lord. Okay, we'll have to do a watch along or something. Boys' night. Okay, Monaco.
Yes.
Thoughts on Monaco? What's going to happen in Monaco?
It's all about the qualifying. So
Exactly.
So it's going to be fireworks. Like who's on fire? Like Hadjar's on fire, Max is on fire, Leclerc's going to be on fire. Oh, so much fire.
And it's a race that often favors the nifty handling car, not necessarily the pack leader. We've seen in the past. Maybe the last time we saw that was Daniel Ricciardo. Maybe where a car that wasn't the fastest car, winning. So who's your picks, guys, for Monaco?
Geez, hard, mate. It's hard.
I think
I mean, I don't
I'm going to
think
say
it'll-
Leclerc. I'm going to say Leclerc. Back to back.
Okay. I like it.
Chris?
I like it. I don't know, man. Like, it's very hard to know how quick Red Bull's going to be.
Yeah.
But I don't know. With a bit of momentum behind him, and he's done it all before, I'm going to say Max. I don't know.
Max, nice.
I'm going to go. I'm going to go with you, Mike. Leclerc, and then we're
Okay.
going to go Max, and we're going to go Russell. Russell's
Oh.
driving so clean, and it's.
I was going to say
I think
Russell.
He's going to slice around Monaco.
Okay. Let me jot that down. Let's
Yeah.
have we're going to start to tabulate our predictions. So your top three, Chris? So
For the
Vinyl
race?
is Vinyl, you got Leclerc for the race. So Vinyl, you got Leclerc,
Leclerc,
Max,
Max,
Russ.
George.
Chris?
Max, Oscar, Leclerc.
Wow. Okay. I'm gonna say Leclerc, Oscar, Max. That doesn't feel right. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see next week. All right. Anything else to add, guys, before we wrap it up?
No, good catch up, boys. Sorry to everyone out there. It's been ages.
It's been ages.
Probably it's my fault, but yeah.
No, my fault as much. Sorry, guys. We've been sick. It's been a while. We've had real life catch up to us. But we're back. We've got our priorities straight. We've kicked out the wives and the kids, and we're back to focus on F1 in our lives. We're sorry about that. Anything to add, guys? That's about it. This was fun. We should do this more often.
Just super psyched for the 1 hour of Monaco qualifying, which is probably the best hour of F1 of the season. Like that qualifying is going to be epic. So make sure you're watching heaps.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
great.
be in touch during the week. Follow us on our socials. We're back, guys. Thank you. See ya.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
Thanks, guys.